And Raeann and I have known each other for 20.
Ran
20
my first energetic session with
yes,
me 20
many years ago with the QXCI SKIO, and she was so sick, like chemical sensitive, and just really couldn't get out in the real world, and she would wear a mask everywhere. And I was really concerned because I just moved into a new home with wood floors, but they weren't glued with wood, so she got by with it and did really well. But you know, so I've seen her grow from just being so chemical sensitive and just really excluded from the world to flourishing and in this wonderful energetic world that we're in. Yeah. And I love her.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa, for letting us gather together. It's awesome. And I'm glad you all are here too, because we learn from each other so much, and all the testimonies are just awesome. I like to start with a quote. So Lauren, he said, the purpose of the scanner is to educate us on the innate abilities we all have. We just have to start listening to ourselves. And that's how Lisa trained me in the QXCI, is just to listen to my inner voice, what it's telling me, and be, I guess, just like try not to focus on the whatever. But anyway, so when I do, well, okay, let's start with this then, since I'm going to do that part. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me get my glasses on. Okay, so an example of a complete scan, and I've learned this from Mary and Lisa and the people that I've spoken to. So first we want to run like a quick scan, and I hope y'all know what these are. Okay, good. Okay, so a quick scan. So if you're in a hurry, we can just run. It includes our supplement library, a top and a bottom tones and colors, and a 3-minute tone thing that we can do. So that's if you just want to do that, but we do that anyway because it gives us our supplements for the day. And then I jump in and I run my easy scan, and the easy scan is nice because it'll optimize us at the same time. It also gives us our vitals and a homeopathy list, but no supplements. It also just takes it down into what stayed red or what didn't optimize out. So that's good. It can just give you a quick look at that. And then we can go on and run the inner voice. And that one, I think that's nice because Lisa just kind of told me about that. She said, that's your inner voice when you've been optimized. And I'm going, oh, that makes sense because, okay, I can optimize out the other junk that's in my easy scan inner voice, but now I'm optimized and I can focus. I guess we're still running, right?
Yeah,
focus, yeah. I can just focus on just what is there afterwards, and it's been cool. And the inner voice one also gives us our report all on one page with all the vitals and everything. And then the last one that we run is the body system. And Lisa, you'll have to, I haven't quite got used to how we can use that, but
I'm not sure any of us have.
Actually, that was something when you had your last meeting and I couldn't stay, I left that picture of my shoulder.
Yes.
Because I was going for acupuncture, my shoulder was killing me. And when that scan came up with the left intertubercular tendon sheath. So I look it up, and as soon as I see the image of where this tendon sheath is, I was like, that's exactly where it is. Right? I brought it with me to the acupuncture guy, and he's like, oh, good. And so he put the needles in totally different places than he had been before, you know, just trying to make my shoulder feel better. And it felt great for days. And then I went to the chiropractor, and I showed him the same thing. He goes, okay, so let me move your shoulder back to make a little more room in that joint. And he hit it right in the spot that hurt with that thing, you know, the actuator they had. And so I've been dying for days after that. You know, sometimes too much information. But at least we're able to locate the source of the problem. And it was from that body scan.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so then on the easy scan, so how I start is I just focus my intention and I always ask myself, okay, do I have something urgent going on with me? Do I have, I'll look over here. Do I have an ongoing situation I want to focus on today, or do I have an emotional upset that has just whacked me out? And then I run the easy scan. I go through those steps, and it always shows what I need. So this particular example that we have is I had an urgent current need one day, and I did not sleep well that night before. I was exhausted and I was nauseated and I had pressure in my brain, and none of that is normal for me. So I'm like, okay, I ran the easy scan, and I love the homeopathy things that we can imprint. And if y'all haven't done that quite yet, look them up. And then I looked them all up. The ones that showed up for me is that I had flu-like symptoms. I had been ingesting man-made chemicals. I had insomnia. I had nausea. And I needed to detox my brain from toxins and my sleep habits. So I thought, oh, I had gone out the day before and picked up a salad and brought it home. And because chemicals in food just really upsets my entire digestive tract, I was sick from being toxic by the food. So that was cool. So I imprinted my homeopathics and used those throughout the day. So then I look at the Easy Scan report, you know, the one that summarizes all just the red ones. And I don't let those like scare me or think that, oh my gosh, I'm like really falling apart. I only, well, like Lauren, he says, we want to work on the 4 and the 8 will take care of themselves. And I just love that. I'm like, okay, so I don't have to look at each one, but what I'm looking for is consistencies. So now I know I have a chemical toxicity thing going on from the food I ate the day before. I was able to put that together. And so I wanted to find things in the Easy Scan report that's going to support that so I can make my playlist. And that basically the report is a guidepost to get us from one point to the next. So what jumped out at me, and if I don't know what they are, sometimes on the Easy Scan, we can usually click on it and it'll give us a thing. So I was like, okay, what's white blood cells have to do with anything going on? And I just looked at it, but I picked up on immune and inflammation. And then my chakra, it was like it said my neck and my cervical spine, which I woke up with a crick in my neck that day. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to run that. And there was something to do with a brain nerve, and I have no idea what that was all about, but I just picked that. So my immune system, and also as I just went through the list, I didn't have to know what any of them meant, but liver detox phase 2 was not working. I needed to detox my body, and the human toxins said that was excitotoxins and pesticides. So I created a playlist, which I don't know if you have a copy of that by any chance.
Let me see if I can find it while you're talking.
And I needed peace, calm, and tranquility. This is not the exact one I built for the other one, but that's okay. But for kidney inflammation, liver, a chemical detox, cleanse my blood, clean blood plasma. I learned that from Mary. And complete frequency set just to cover the rest of it, and the aura builder. Anyway, I had a couple different ones.
Can you explain what complete frequency set is?
A complete frequency set. Let's see if I can. Okay, it does all of them. I think it does all of our ones in our Cephi. Which one is that? It does them all. Yeah,
it's based on Royal
If you don't know
Life.
what you're doing, you can just push that button and run them
It
all.
doesn't run them all. It's based on It's based on Royal Rife's frequency set. So when you run yourself, it actually chooses the optimal ones, which are hundreds to choose, and it will just cycle through those. So it may not be the one specifically in the Cephi, but it's based on Royal Rife's work per se.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So pretty much that's what I do. So I've I've imprinted my homeopathics at this point, and then I've set up my custom playlist, and then I start playing that. And today, that day, because I was so distressed over the chemicals, I went ahead and ran a continuous broadcast until I felt better. Then I jump into my inner voice reports.
Oh, yes. let
Yeah,
me get
those
to
are
those.
cool.
Let me
And
get-
I'd like to mention, in case we don't know, we probably all know, but Solux has us start speaking and using the words I am. And why do they do that? Yeah. Well, Lauren told us it's a connection with higher source, and it also puts me in a position to speak my truth. So I just love it because what we speak after that point is going to be the truth that comes out in our reports. And
So
I
would you
just love
say
it.
the intention at this point is really important
The intention?
that you set during the inner voice?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, well, and sometimes I don't know. I mean, I'm working through a lot of emotional stuff. I'm
Mhm.
doing the 30-day program. Have you all heard about that? No? So a lot of people at the conference, they just work the inner voice. They do this for 30 days straight. So I made a commitment to myself. They said, you will see miracles. And the stories we heard were amazing. So I decided I'm going to commit myself to that because I really want to keep getting healthier and emotionally.
And can I just backtrack a little?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that means running your inner voice only,
Mhm.
or at least the inner voice every day.
Listening to the tunes and stuff, at least doing
balancing
that every day,
harmonics.
and balancing the harmonic. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and that's been real powerful. I do all of this piece of it every day when I have time, as most days I do. And so I do want to share a couple of things that happened to me after a couple weeks of running this inner voice and my tunes, and using the colored glasses have been powerful as well. So I'll get my colors out that they suggest, and then I read what it says. So which one is this one?
This is the blue one.
The blue one? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Can we go to the yellow one
Uh-huh.
first? Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Let's do that one. So really cool. On this one, so then we'll scroll down, and then I would read the undeserved or the negative, and I would read the positive. And I pick out something that I'm like, well, what really speaks to me? And my thing is like stemming from neglect, abuse, or separation from mother. And then that was my day. That's how I started it off. It was like, okay. And then over on the positive side, it talked about a deep connection to mother. So those were the two things that I kind of focused on and set my intention for. And I put my yellow glasses on, and then I start the harmonics for those. And then eventually I close my eyes. I look in my window with my blinds closed, so I can really see the yellow in the morning, that the light shining through, and it intensifies the color. Amazing. Anyway, so then I close my eyes, and what the most amazing thing happened was that I felt I went back into the womb. Now, this was like with my eyes closed, and I'm listening to the tunes, and I just went back into my mother's womb, and it was peaceful. It was calm. Oh, I forgot to tell the story. Okay, so when Lisa first met me, when Lisa first met me 20 years ago, and very first session, I believe, you said, what happened to you when your mom was 2 months pregnant with you? So I'm like, oh, well, my 8-year-old brother had suddenly died. And I was like, interesting. I mean, I never knew my brother, and I never even thought about a connection. Lisa goes, that's in your cellular memory. And I'm like, really? She goes, yes, it's affecting you today. So we unraveled a lot of that, but it keeps coming up, and because there's deeper things that I could go through in life and keep unwrapping it. So I was back in my mother's womb, and it was very peaceful. I was floating around, and I mean, I cried through most all of this most every day anyway. So I'm working through my emotional stuff, and so that was really cool. And then the next one,
The blue one?
the blue one, yeah. Have you guys used the
Oh.
blue glasses yet? Have you?
I used the color in my sauna. I didn't buy the glasses.
Oh, okay. The deep blue ones are amazing. You put them on and you feel like you've gone into another world. They're very, for me, it really speaks a lot. So I looked at my the negative and the positive on this, and I guess probably focused mostly on like the negative was often triggered by traumatic life experiences and abuse, disappointment, or failure. And then on the positive side, it talks about, well, I didn't think about anything positive. So no thoughts or pressures from the past. I really didn't get to that side. I just started listening to it because by then, this is the same day that I ran my mother one. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So I put the deep blue ones on, and they're even more amazing. And so as I ran that, I went to a safe place. Is the only, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a non-threatening zone. And then I saw, as I listened to the harmonics, I saw things coming at me, my fears, my worries, whatever. They were like coming at me, and then they would just go away. And I thought that was really cool. So it just, when I went back and then I read a little bit more, I thought that was what it was like to live without chronic worry, absence of chronic worry, because I just stopped worrying about anything and everything that came my way. And then the other thing was just no thoughts or pressures from the past, because those were things from the past coming at me. So that was two pretty cool things that I got to do with the inner voice. And today then, I don't know, with the inner voice that we run, our inner voice one, after optimizing, even on those sheets, I didn't attach any of those, but on those sheets, I can pick up on digestive, or it just gives me clues as well to add to my playlist if I need to. And so it's just very powerful. I don't know.
And one of the things I want to say while you're talking about that is so many times, I think we're afraid of looking at our past, or it's been so buried that I've seen people at the beginning of these like deny that they fall into any of these categories. But then as we start listening to our music more and things start peeling off, we start all of a sudden seeing things that we had no idea were even still kind of in our system and in our past. And it takes a bit of bravery, I think, to keep pushing through that, and the willingness. And you actually might find some emotional states arise as you're going through these. You might find some anger bursts or tears or elation. There can be all kinds of things that can happen through this. So don't be surprised as you're moving through these peeling back of layers that you start having these emotions that you just go, where did that come from?
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys all experienced? Yeah. So, just.
Yeah, that was like 3 weeks into it, 2 or 3 weeks
Mhm.
into doing things every day.
If you
so.
listen to the harmonics regularly, you'll experience it more. I've been
Mhm.
trying to be more committed to listen to them. But when you do, that's
Aren't
when you
they
really experience.
amazing?
When you experience it, I think for me.
Can I give a feedback for that software, for that, when you have your balancing tones, that they have a repeat button? Because
Oh,
after they finish, then if I'm floating around
I
in the
know.
pool, then I have to go back with my wet finger and hit play.
We're just excited that they all play with one push right now.
Well,
They didn't
what-
even do
it's no
that at
big
the
deal to
beginning.
say, have a choice button there, repeat, and then it'll just.
Well,
loop.
one of the things when we actually went to Solex and we brought up some of these comments, they are so fast and furious just trying to update. So right now they're just prioritizing. And then they are very good. So any of you out there, if you have any comments for Solex, you can email them or get on their Facebook page because they're just more than willing to.
It's amazing how quickly they've adapted and changed
Oh, what
things.
they've done is incredible. So yes, they know that's on the burner, but we are so excited just to have the one button push because that's fairly new. It used to be just single MP3s. You go one, and that was when it was miserable. You just get asleep and then
Because you get into that zone and now you have to stop.
yeah,
And it defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Because they're only 2 or 3 minutes long.
they're 3 minutes, right? It's
You
a
know.
total of 12 minutes for the two, but we're
And then
thrilled.
there's that other play but below it that kind of gives background,
Mhm,
like
mhm,
flowing water, whatever.
mhm.
And that can play simultaneously.
Yes, yes, yeah.
But
So
it still stops.
so they're listening. They are listening.
They do, and one time they took 2 or 3 weeks. I just sent off a question. They took 2 or 3 weeks or so to answer, and I'm like, oh, I just send them off, and they do eventually respond. They're like, so sorry it took me so long to get back to you, but
Yeah.
here's what we're doing or what we can do or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
great. They're
really-
great. So right now they're
Yes.
just prioritizing and then they'll go back and fine tune. When you think they're just a year old in August, they have done a lot just since we've all joined in March and April and May. So yes, thank you for that, Elaine.
Okay, well, that's all I really have to talk about.
Yeah, but you created a wonderful list.
Mhm.
Did you want to go through that?
The other list?
Like how to get ready.
Oh, how to get ready. Yeah. Okay. So
And
our
I can bring
plan-
that on the screen.
Okay. And were you able to send it out or was that?
I did, but now
Yeah.
they're on a different,
Okay.
so plan. Right here.
Oh,
What
hang
did-
it up, Robert.
Okay.
What did Robert say?
Nothing.
We're
We said
back
nothing.
to the middle child syndrome.
I think,
It'll take you a moment to change you up.
I think a lot of you out there know my husband, and
Careful what you say.
that's all I can say. So screen share. And then let me get over there. Okay, I think
Okay.
I hope it's sharing this out there, you guys. Let me know. Oh, here, share.
Sure.
Now it is.
Okay. All right. So this is just something that you all can use if just some things that I think of and do as I've worked through. How do I do this? So we want to plan, prepare, and practice. And I have not scanned my supplements yet. It's on there. That's one thing I need to really get to. And what I did was I labeled my glasses. The covers that they come in, I put a big white label on them. And when I figured out what color they were, I wrote that color
Yes.
on them. And then I alphabetized them in my case. And I can pull out my yellow. I can pull out my deep blue, whatever. It makes it really easy.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have a cheat sheet that I use, has every one of our frequencies in every one of our sections on it. So if I don't want to scroll through my phone and look and see, go back and forth, and I can't ever remember where they're at, sometimes I just use that cheat sheet to do that. So, and if anybody wants a copy of these, I can forward it to you. You got them all
I
there.
got,
Oh, you
yeah,
got
I
them all.
brought
They
it.
have others that you do. So this is just a beginning 101 sheet, basically. And then what I do to prepare, I set my intention for results. Drink water. That reminds
I'm
me.
sorry.
And then
I just went too high.
and I get out my transducer set and earbuds and colored glasses. Then I have my homeopathic pellets and whatever other materials ready to imprint. This just makes it go so fast for me in the morning. Boom, boom, get it kind of done. Anyway, and I think it's just for me, making it consistent is good. You know, I need to make it a habit for me because it's life changing.
Mhm.
This is amazing, listening to everybody's testimonies and how we use it. That's been my goal recently. And then paying attention to details and shifts as they're happening. I know that Lauren said something to the effect that in the future, right now, this is a tool that we use right now, but in the future, this is just really training us so that we can actually do these things on our own without the scanner. So Lisa's taught me so much about listening to my body. And I know when I'm done running frequencies for the day, I'm like, oh, I'm done, you know, because like, do I run 2 minutes? Do I run a blast? Do I whatever? And I try all these different things. And eventually I just say, okay, done and next. And in the middle of the day, if I have an emotional upset, I find out what that is. And I just turn on my scanner and I let it run until I'm stable again. So it's awesome what we can do. So, and then also, I just am now learning, I really want to start watching our weekly call replays. I have not been able to watch all the videos and YouTubes that they put out there. And I know there's so much information, but then our link out there is just under Solex LLC YouTube. So internet search that. And then our Facebooks for such a time as this. And the Solex has an official Facebook, and I know there's others that
Yeah,
we've shared
and on
too.
our For Such a Time as This page, I've actually attached documents with some of the groups you can hop on and join through the Facebook page and a few of the YouTube pages that I found. So that would be literally going onto our For Such a Time as This. And if any of you can't find that, let me know. It's under media, I think is what it is. So it's a little bit different to find it, but it is all there to kind of assist.
Okay,
on
and
my
then
way
I just
through.
listed our example of doing a complete scan if you did everything every morning, you know, ran through them all. If you had a need to do that, it's just, for me, helps keep me like, what do I run first? I don't know what. So I've got to get my supplement library in there though. And that's about all. It's just a
That's
cheat sheet.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great cheat sheet. Can we say that? Cheat sheet? Thank you for putting that together. And we do have copies of that, I think.
I didn't.
I can print them. You know, for those of you, because, you know, we do have people at all different levels here. We have, you know, brand new people joining our group. I'm going to make sure if there's any chats
Well,
here.
true. And as Lisa, you know, you connect with the people here, and it's like, I call Mary a lot because Lisa's not always available, but it's like, you know, I call Mary and
Who's right over here?
Bonnie, what should I do? I have this, any ideas? Have you ever run across this before? And we're all learning together and
Yeah.
a wealth of information.
Yeah, and you know, we're willing to sit down with you and help create playlists and brainstorm. That's really one of my favorite things are those playlists. I
So do
love
we
them.
have a Parkinson's playlist? Somebody's asking.
I feel
Lisa made one
like
for me, but it's more about the symptoms of
Mhm.
Parkinson's, like the bradykinesia, tremors,
mhm.
and things like that.
Mhm.
Which, when you find that expanded, was what I was talking about. There's a lot of that too. So what I had done was took all the frequencies that they had underneath
Goodness,
that topic,
sorry.
and I was searching the big master list for that frequency for other conditions, because you just use it like a PDF. It's a PDF, so it's searchable. So if I have 830 hertz, I search a whole document for every single thing that uses 830 hertz, and you start to get a picture of, oh, this is for movement, things having to do with movement dysfunction. And then you'll find another.
Golly, I'm sorry. What's going on here?
You know, another frequency that has some other, like anxiety is a big portion of Parkinson's. So you'll find a frequency and you'll go through, oh, they're hitting anxiety with that frequency. So they just put the list there and say for Parkinson's. But even in that list, they're not saying specifically what about Parkinson's is that particular frequency doing. And that's what I'm trying to
I do think, gosh, how much frequency is too much? Like sometimes I think we can do so much that we just overload our bodies. But then Lauren said it'll just get rid of anything that we don't need. So, you know, I always think I want to do every playlist that I have in the morning. But then sometimes, you know, he said he just does singular, you know, just a handful each day. So I think it's really back to just experimenting and seeing what works best for your body.
You hurts if you do too much.
Do what?
You hurts if you do too much.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll get
yes.
headaches or because
Yes.
I have mole, Lyme, which is really parasites, most diseases. I'll get all these
No,
little
like
red dots. So my detox pathways aren't all the way open. That's part of it, but I'm working on that. But you'll know if you do too much. You go, oh,
One thing I read
Fiber.
about that, when Rife was first treating the cancer patients, because he referred those 16 people, and at first they were doing the treatment every day, and then the patients were getting sick, and he realized that he's killing all these cancer cells, and the body's lymphatic system needs time to flush it out. So he switched it to every 3 times a week, and then they didn't have that burden on their lymphatic system to get rid of stuff.
yeah,
So
there's a
sometimes, yeah, so you need to know what that is and
Yeah.
not just keep hammering yourself.
Yeah, no, I know what it is because I keep my little notes, the order. It's colon, liver, bile ducts, lymph,
Yeah.
organs, tissues, and cells.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
do
that's
you do
good.
that?
I love
You
that.
do that on different days, or do you do it every day? Or?
No, I know what's working in me and what's not, but I use my sauna a lot for lymph. My liver is the biggest issue. It's what comes up most consistently. There's a protocol, supplement protocol
Yeah.
that I should use more often, but I use a few of their products. I really need to work on it. Yeah.
Can you say those again?
Sure.
Okay.
At the bottom is colon. If you're not pooping, then you're just keeping toxins in your body. That's the way it works.
Oh, I
out.
see. And she's got a
Yeah,
triangle like
can
this,
show you
and that's
too.
at the bottom point.
Yeah, that's
a good-
basically what it is. Okay, so at the bottom's colon. If you're not pooping, everything's backing up. Then liver and bile ducts. Above that is lymph.
Mhm.
And then organs and tissues. And then your cells.
Okay. Thank you. I have a
welcome.
lot of detox issues too. Same thing. So
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some good
great.
protocols out there. That the best ones are like micro formulas. They get everything working and moving.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll have to talk. Okay, microformulas.
That's great. All right.
The wonderful pain relief that she's able to get with this. I got a text from her yesterday that she had her son's dog over the house, which is a pit bull, and she let it outside without realizing that the neighbor's cat was in the backyard, trapped behind a new screen door that hadn't been hung yet. And she grabbed the dog and he jerked her down with the collar. She hurt herself. So I started running her again. She texted me, she's help. So I got her playlist out because I have a specific playlist with the issues that she has. And she texts back 15, 20 minutes later. And she says, I cannot believe the relief I always get on weekly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of dogs, this just happened today. Yeah, you triggered something. So where's our little Kahlua at?
Yeah.
Sleep.
Go find our cute little Kahlua. So he was on the ground, like labor, like it sounded like his breathing was laboring. And we have a playlist we keep him on, but I keep saying to Bob, I said, I think it's heart. I think it's his heart. I don't know why. I don't have anything to back that out. And hopefully Solex will come out with the animal scan here soon. But I put this heart playlist on him, and Bob didn't witness it because he was in the bedroom. But that little dog, the second that playlist stopped, jumped up on his feet, did this, and went into the bedroom to greet Bob. I was like, oh my goodness, that was crazy.
And that's what's neat with the smaller animals and the smaller things like small babies, small children, they all are very susceptible to this because with the biofeedback, we also got such amazing things with children. And because there's no preconceived anythings, they're just innocent, wide open, and
Yes.
ready to accept.
Yes. And yes, Linda will have that list posted on Facebook from Kim.
Oh. The detox.
Yeah.
Order.
Want me to hold the post?
Yes, we'll do a screenshot. That's funny. Yeah, so any other comments? You guys, if you have questions, unmute yourself. I see we're down to Christina and Linda. Thank you for hanging in there, girls. And I think, gosh, that was a good.
I have kind of a cool story about my
Oh,
son.
please.
Okay, so with this whole mold exposure, he's been sick since he's about 6 and slowly getting sicker. It ended up being PANS and PANDAS, which is basically brain inflammation. Long story short, he's healing with homeopathy, but he didn't want to be scanned and no woo-woo magic, whatever, you know, no. So I'm like, well, you're living in my house, so I'm going to do something. And so I took a picture of his room. And I put in a lot of stuff like self-confidence, love, things like that. But I also put in accelerated learning. And he's very, very smart. But when you have brain inflammation, your brain, if you've ever had brain fog or anything, you know, your brain doesn't work that well. So the first time I scanned his room, I just did the 2-minute program I had and scanned him. And he came out and he was playing video games. He's like, I think I'm healing. My brain is working so much better. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And I just feel like I can beat anybody and whoever I'm playing in these games. So, you know, it works. I have other things, but that one was like, wow. Yeah.
That's another list we'll need.
Yeah. I ran it once on him. And he came out, and a couple hours later, after he played video games,
How old is he?
he's 18.
Oh, so you can't put it on him. It didn't
No.
Can't sneak it on.
But
him.
the room, that was clever. I like
Yeah,
that.
I took a photo of his room, so when he's in there, I'll run his room.
I love it. Yeah,
Sneaky,
the
but-
atmosphere, right? Yeah.
Well, you know, that's what Lauren said in our meeting last week, that someone had run a specific room and the balance and the wonderful things that he didn't go into it.
Yeah.
That had taken place. And that was, he also talked about one of their scientists that helps create all this. He thinks 7 seconds is enough.
Yeah.
He's from Spain. And he thinks 7 seconds is enough.
You were
So-
SETI when you're running the SETI.
Mhm.
I thought it was 8, sorry.
Oh, go listen again. Oh, yeah, middle child syndrome.
Well,
So-
and that's the whole thing, you know, it's still such a learning curve for all of us. And, you know, people ask what's the right way to do this or the right way to do that. And, you know, that's the whole thing. It's like experiment. I don't think there is a right
No.
or
No, right,
wrong.
no
You know, we're
wrong.
all unique and we change every minute, every second, you know, so what might work for me may not work for you and you know, vice versa. So it's like, just have fun with it and don't make it hard, because that's what so many people do. They try to get in there and make it so hard.
Well, this is what I had someone saying. I notice I come up different. Every time I do something that has a voice scan, my tones will be different in that one than they were in that one, because it's probably been 5 minutes since you started something. Your cells have changed umpteen times in that time.
Yeah, every interaction you
Yeah,
have
in that
creates
5
change.
minutes.
Well, not
whether
only
you-
that, each time that you scan yourself, you've
It
done,
balances.
yeah, so you've
It's like a
changed it.
chiropractic adjustment. That's what I explained to when I try to explain it. Because I took it to my nephew's wedding and they're all millennial age and I had a line. I was scanning for at least 45 minutes. I was like, okay, well, I had to get a portion. There was an outdoor wedding, so we had to go on a deck. It was nice and quiet. The rest of you stay over there. No, we interact. No,
Oh, that's funny.
you know,
That's
so
funny. One other thing that I know happens to me one time. I had an emotional upset before I went to bed one night, and I woke up the next morning. My scan did not make any sense at all. I mean, there was like so many things out of whack. I'm like, this is not me. I don't know what happened. So my emotions can just make it look so crazy. So I just ran my emotions that day. I didn't try to balance anything. I'm like, I got to get my emotions set, because there was things that I'm like, this is not for me at all.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah, it's fun. So we
It is
learn,
fun.
you know,
We
this just pay attention to those little things, and we know our bodies.
And sometimes it
Mhm.
happens with such ease that we don't even realize it. You know, other people might before us, or all of a sudden you just think, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping better, or, you know, my knee may not hurt as much as it did the day before. And on that one, I do want to give a little kudos plug to the jewelry that we have, because this, I will tell you, since I started using my insoles, I feel like my knees don't hurt as much anymore. You know, and I have some fraying meniscus. You know, and just the balance that mom gets from her bracelet now. She can do a tree pose at the age of
You can say it.
you can say it.
82.
82.
No, 82.
You know, so all of these things work together. I don't think anything is singular. You know, I love those water sticks. I do want to say about those too, for those of you that haven't got those. They're supposed to help with the pH balance of the water and different things like that. But we tested it because we were told that it would break up, you know, soda. Like if you put it in soda, it'd make it go flat. We didn't have soda, but we had sparkling water of some kind. And it took, what, 30 seconds or something?
Amazing.
But it really did. And that's part of its job, is to uncluster clustered water. So it was kind of fun to experiment with that and watch that water go kind of flat.
I think I told you I'm gonna put them in our Berkey.
Yes.
Yeah, because I stir the water now to help try to structure it a little bit. And each time you add new water that's stirred, it continues to
Yeah.
structure. So but I thought I'm gonna put sticks in my Berkey
Yeah.
and have structured water.
Which is
What's
fun.
in there? That's a water filter. It goes out.
Do you put it
fluoride.
in the top one or the bottom
That's what I'm
one?
trying to decide. I feel like
Yeah.
if you put it in the bottom, it might be too much.
Okay.
Because I'm hearing people say things like they're having trouble sleeping after drinking structured water. So I'm like, if it just doesn't pass through on the top, that might be enough.
Oh, and having trouble sleeping. That's another comment. So we had heard somebody, who was that, Bob, that said they felt like if they wore their bracelet too close to bedtime, they didn't sleep. And I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if mine will keep me up. So we've both been taking ours off about an hour before bedtime. Kind of do feel like that makes a difference.
I've only done it one day.
I've done it too.
and I slept.
I took mine off, but only because it was pinching the hairs on my wrist.
I've
No,
never
it's
been able to
all
wear
hairs
it to
out.
bed. It keeps
I
me
cannot.
up. But now I'm going a step further and moving it an hour or so before bedtime. You know,
Good.
so kind of there again, play with it. Everybody's
I have
different.
a program for before I go to bed and sleep well. I love that. I love that one. Play it before you go to bed. Everyone
We
seems
need
to-
your playlist, Kim.
I'll share.
We'll get
There's
copies
lots
of it.
playlists.
And I made one for my granddaughter for stay asleep. She was having trouble staying asleep. And then I ran it for her. She says, I couldn't wake up that day.
Oh, no.
The other thing is I had a women's group that I co-facilitated on Thursday. So with the water sticks, I imprinted it with like love, gratitude, and then put it in the water, you know, and those are the things you don't really know if it shifts and makes a difference or not, but the women loved it. Like they didn't want to drink the other water. So, you know, we just dropped it in some of the gallon containers that we have and brought it. And it was fun because that's kind of what the whole group was about, was moving forward and, you know, connecting. So, you know, don't forget or remember to do some things like that. It's just fun to project that out. And what it actually does is kind of restructures the water a little bit. So any of you that have done Dr. Emoto's work or looked at his work, if not, he has a lot online and pictures of water that he's, you know, just put the words like love, gratitude, and the pictures they took, and it's beautiful water crystal structures. And then some others he put on, I hate you, I wish you were dead, and it looked like murky, muddy, horrible water. So that's the whole thing. They say, you know, if we're 75% water and we're giving ourselves those negative thoughts or projecting it to other people, what are we doing to ourselves? So to have a device that we can structure things beautifully is really,
The water we get comes in straight lines to our home, so it's not structured. Water gets like cleaned, structured, cleaned. It's the same water that Jesus had. So it gets cleaned by running through rivers and going over rocks, and that's how it becomes structured. So
Yeah.
the water that comes to our homes goes through treatment plants, and everything's in straight
oh, I
lines.
never even thought of that, Kim.
So, well, there's a guy up in Camp Verde, Clay something, that sells structured water units. So a lot of good information.
Nice. Okay, thank you. All right, well, I think we're gonna close it down unless you, Christina, Linda, do you have any questions? Unmute yourself if you do. Otherwise, thank you for hanging in there if you're not asleep on the other side.
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Good.
Good. And I was looking at our calendar for the next meeting. I think it'll end up being in 3 weeks instead of a month because we're actually going to be camping. So whatever that Sunday is, the first Sunday of November, 7th, because then,
Is it the seventh?
yeah, because then after that, we start getting into the holiday stuff. So mark your
The 7th
calendars
is
for the
Sunday.
7th. I'll put that on the date, and we'll try to perfect this in between now and then. You know, we'll get it professional, girls. All right, thank you.
Do you guys have a scanner?
Yeah.
Yeah.